Good day, welcome to my channel. This is Song Meanings, according to fans. Today's topic is 3 AM by Matchbox 20.
3 AM, I must be lonely.
I don't know what he wrote this song about, but I know how I interpreted it and what it meant to me. I used to use drugs to this song every night. I am now a grateful recovering addict. And it was a song about me. It seems like it is all about someone who is depressed or who has a cocaine-induced depression. The person is sad, scared, alone, and fragile. She says, "Baby, it's 3 AM, I must be lonely." And the clock on the wall has been stuck at 3 for days and days. She says she is lonely at 3 AM. But it has been 3 AM for days and days. Clock is stuck at 3 AM. Therefore, she has been lonely for days and days. I could go on picking apart every little piece of this song and applying it to my life at that point. Well, I did actually. But I just thought it would be interesting to see it from another point of view. I love this song. It's very catchy. At first, I thought it was primarily about insomnia and his reassurance towards the girl, as well as other people who experience insomnia, that they are not alone, and it gives a sense of belonging to the song, that even if we are all strangers to each other, we are not strangers to the condition. Or from lyrical interpretation, it could also be a story that was never told, about a girl who experiences mental health problems, like schizophrenia, insomnia, and depression. She says, "It's all gonna end and it might as well be my fault." She thinks of committing suicide, giving up hope, and blaming herself for it. Hence, killing herself in the end, while nobody knew what she was going through. It's kinda sad when you think of it that way. He then tells her story, the one that was never told. Maybe he knew this girl, and the repercussions of her death are having an impending effect on him. Like most deaths that can be prevented, it leaves others in the mist, questioning whys and what ifs, thinking about what they could have done to change the outcome. The way the lyrics are sung are through third-person omniscient narration. Like she is not talking directly to him, because his reactions are not received through the lyrics. Perhaps she is talking to herself, muttering quietly, and so he imagines this as part of the phases that she has been through before she died. The most disturbing lines in the song for me are, "And she only sleeps when it's raining." And she screams, and her voice is straining. It's kinda hard to detect the disturbance in the lyrics behind the upbeatness of the song. But in the end, I think he is sorting reason and resolution to help him get through the trauma caused by a death. This song came out when I worked the morning shift, so 3 AM was when my alarm went off. I'm the opposite of a morning person, so the tempo of this song helped wake me up. Especially when Rob belts out, "But outside, it stopped raining." It kind of became my theme song, without knowing the meaning behind it, and it was definitely my favorite song of the 90s. Such a sad song. Like how life seems to be painful, and one becomes fearful when one is weak. It's natural. She screams, her voice is straining, means she is in pain. Rain could mean crying here. She cannot get sleep, so she cries to sleep. Like crying so much, like a lot of rain. She still hands him his coat, like a loving wife or mother. She is tormented. I think the girl that Rob sings about suffers from a case of schizophrenia. In the first part, he says she hands him a raincoat, "It's all gonna end, and it might as well be my fault." She fears the outside world. She shows classic symptoms of schizo, like waking up at odd hours and making outrageous claims. For instance, she swears the moon don't hang quite as high as it used to. She only sleeps when it's raining. I think she feels protected by the rain. This is a great song about his partner. However, I believe he does not tolerate this behavior for long, because he doesn't state once how he put her to sleep or comforted her. I think it's about this girl that breaks up with him, and she's not over him, and the world stops, because when he says, "The clock has been stuck at 3 for days now," and she only sleeps when it's raining outside, because the rain washes away his memories. But then, she gets over him, and the world keeps moving, because he says. But outside, it's stopped raining, and she doesn't need the rain to wash away her pain. To me, this sounds like it's about someone in a relationship with a girl who maybe isn't completely right in the head. Schizophrenic, bipolar, manic depressive, whatever. And even though she's got these problems, the guy still loves her, but maybe she doesn't see it. That's just my take. It reminds me of the song Esteem by 8 Stops 7. Does anybody else think that he said, happiness is the mouse that sits in her doorway? I'm not arguing with the lyrics, but that's what I always thought it was. Maybe it's because my friend's mom had a frog that would sit on her porch every night, and she always liked to watch it. Ha ha ha. Lol. I'm weird. Don't worry. I have always loved this song ever since I was a kid, but I'd never even really thought about what it meant. Whenever I hear it, though, I remember being at my house with a girl I really liked and just dancing to it. That one dance seemed to last forever. I think this song could also be easily related to depression. Rather, someone going through depression, feeling the need to be taken care of, feeling hopeless, etc. She believes that life is made up of what you're used to. Too many people take their lives for granted and just live life by what they're used to. She thinks happiness is the mat that sits on her doorway. She is happy by everything, each moment. Her life is filled with happiness because of her second chance in life. In her color portrait, she believes she got it all. She sees things from a positive point of view, and her normal life is now something she treasures because she's got it all. Very good song, but it's a little complicated to find the meaning. Always listen to it in the morning while getting dressed. First time I heard it, I thought it was a song about a guy who's dating this eccentric girl. Because of the odd things she talked about, like the moon don't hang quite as high as it used to, but she felt lonely and had this sensation that the rain would come and clean her, make her a better person. I'm trying to take certain lines and figure out the meaning. So for now, all I can come up with for, she thinks happiness is a mat that sits on her doorway, means to me that she doesn't know happiness inside her own home. But once she is heading out the door, apparently to go to the bar, and walks over the mat, that's all she knows is happiness is leaving the house to go drink her feelings away. One thing that hasn't been mentioned yet. The 3 a.m. is an allusion to something F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote. In A Real Dark Night of the Soul, it is always 3 o'clock in the morning. He later describes how the dark night of the soul is marked by loneliness. Although the first line, where she hands him his raincoat and always worries about things like that, struck me as maternal, I didn't think it was about his mother. Hearing that this song was about his mother's fight with cancer changed my perception of this song quite a bit. If I had to chance a guess at interpreting these lyrics, I guess I'd say, she says it's all gonna end, and it might as well be my fault. I guess the fact that his mother had such an illness made him feel guilty. Grief is weird like that. Not sure why she only sleeps while it's raining. Maybe because it's a soothing sound? Those days always make me feel really peaceful, and I could sleep just about anywhere when I hear the sound, so. But then again, maybe that's just me. The lines, and she screams, and her voice is straining, makes me think that she's worn out, frustrated, and probably not feeling well. Now it's like obvious why. As for the strange things she says and does, well, the fear of dying and realizing that you've got a terminal illness can create some eccentricities. Sometimes that's just how people deal with stuff like that. Although if you're 14 and watching your mom go through all that, you feel really powerless to help her, and sad, and guilty, and stuff. Well, it would be easy to resent her sometimes, but then again, that's just projecting frustration. It's a really tough situation, and I've got to say, even though it's a horrible thing to go through, It inspired a fantastic song. I like how the song lets everyone have their own interpretation of it. You touch more people that way, I suppose. On her color portrait wall, she believes that she's got it all. This, I think, refers to the fact that Rob's mother was content with her achievements in life, raising a family, the color portraits being photos of family. Beautiful. Think about this for a minute. The rain in the song is tears. She hands me my raincoat, I believe that's a tissue. And she only sleeps when it's raining. She cries herself to sleep. Says the rain's gonna wash away, I believe it. She is telling Rob that the end is soon. But outside, it's stopped raining. The end has come, no more tears. The she in the song is his mother. Well, after I heard it, I learned this song was about his mother, so that might have skewed my interpretation a bit. It's definitely about someone dying, but I don't think it's making her crazy. On the contrary, the prospect of death is sobering, and very, very real, and she's uncertain as to how to deal with it. It's 3 a.m., I must be lonely, comes after, and the clock on the wall has been stuck at 3 for days. It's a dry joke. The video is kind of cool too. I think that either all the people in the black and white shots are supposed to represent cancer victims, or that Rob's suspecting they are wondering about their lives. I certainly don't think it's a lover. He hands him a raincoat because she's worried about him, like a mom would, and that her life is going to end soon because of cancer. And she has no one to blame, so she takes it out on him. My grandmother died of cancer. She pretty much raised me when I was little, but she abandoned my mother, and she'd go to mental hospitals for months at a time as vacations, while popping pills and suicide threats. She always thought the world was out to get her, and even though she cared about people, she could never really communicate love in a normal fashion. I love this song. It reminds me of how she used to be. This song always has, and always will make me bawl. As a child, my mother was an alcoholic, and I only lived with her until I was 9. She always played this song when she was drinking, and the sentimental value of it is endless. I remember watching MTV when I was young, and Rob said this song was about his mom coming home drunk. So as a child, I could really relate. My mom used to get drunk in the summer, stuff me in the car, and drive around the river at night listening to this. When I hear this song, I can still smell dirt and rust. She says it's cold outside, and she hands me my raincoat. She's always worried about things like that. My mom was always worried and focused on the small things, never her addiction. She says it's all gonna end, and it might as well be my fault. My mom often blamed me for her addiction. It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. It was around 3 a.m. that she made me go on these drives. I was in 2nd grade, and it was often on school nights. But God, would I try so hard to stay up for her. This song is amazing. Yes, it is about his mom, when she was battling cancer. It means something else to me though. I went through a phase in my life where I was going absolutely insane. I had postpartum depression, never left the house, and lost all my friends. I began to have cabin fever, but I didn't even want to leave the house because I was afraid of the world. This lasted almost a year, and thank God, I'm out that phase in my life. Everything is wonderful now, but this song reminds me of myself back then. The clock on the wall has been stuck at 3 for days and days. She thinks that happiness is a mat that sits on her doorway. Genius. When I was younger, I hated every single Matchbox 20 songs, but now that I'm older and understand the meanings, I love almost every one of their songs. So deep. I could never quite understand this song. Now I have read what people have said about it. Makes sense that it is about someone, his mum, who has seen pain and death and gone beyond that, and so is a bit mixed up, and is having to deal with her erratic behavior. It is about how life is so quick to leave us, how our future can suddenly seem impermanent. She seems to have reacted to its impermanence by becoming erratic and almost irresponsible, like nothing matters. because it is all going to be taken away again so soon, and even though she has survived, it doesn't mean that they won't still all die sometime in the future, so nothing really makes sense or matters anymore. There is no permanence, but in our ultimate isolation and loss, we have nothing, and we have everything, because it is irrelevant what we have or what we lose, it all ends anyway. But before I read these explanations, it made me think about myself and my boyfriend. I'm pretty mixed up and erratic in my behavior, getting depressed and flippant about life, in that way, anxiety or whatever. This song sounds like it is written from my boyfriend's point of view, observing me. There is a loneliness, even when you are with those that you love, when something isn't right with your mental health. It makes us both alone in our love. So I heard today on TV that he wrote it when his mom had cancer, and then once that was over, it was just his mom's theme song, and wow, that just meant so much to me. My mom has breast cancer right now. I wish I had the talent to write such a meaningful, beautiful song. I love them. This song is about the lead singer of Matchbox 20, Rob Thomas' mother's battle with cancer. She was told she only had 6 months to live. When Rob was about 14, she made a full recovery, and after that recovery, she didn't seem to take life seriously. She wanted to live it to its fullest. If you take a close look at the lyrics, they are all relevant in some way or another to this situation. 3 a.m. is when the bars close. It's about Rob Thomas being lonely during this period of his mother's life. Bye bye. See you on the next one.